Hey, I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, on my Facebook page, True Divine 44. Like, share, subscribes and comments are greatly appreciated on either or both of those platforms, and much love to everybody who's doing that thus far. I'm putting out as much free content as I can, mainly via tarot, to help support, guide and inspire those who want to be supported, guided and inspired. So this is a daily energy read. I pick up on the collective energies around me, translate them via tarot and bring them to you. It's your job to be discerning as to what I say, as to what's meant for you. What resonates here, run with it. What doesn't, leave it. Don't bend readings to your will, because you just don't get the best out of them. So I'm in grey today because I'd like to say I do not consent. I don't consent to take part on either side. I'm in the middle. I'm balanced. I'm in the grey zone. I'll dip into the other zones whenever I wish, whenever I decide, but I do not consent to anybody pushing me to one side or the other. I won't be divided, I won't fall, and I do not consent. So some of you will think that's crazy to say, some of you will understand what I'm saying. In here for a long time I've taken a stand to not consent to be swayed in either direction, not to be controlled, not to be manipulated, and I'm very strong on that. I'm very stern with that, and complacency has gotten us where we are now. Complacency and the willingness to be ushered into either side, or pushed into either side, or controlled into a certain way of thinking via fear. And that's what's got us here today. These hooks that have been put into the collective to force agendas that are not our own agendas, they are not of our will. The secrecy, the things that are hidden in the grey zone, in the dim light of the moon, rather than being out in the open, enlightened. I won't be reactionary to any of it. I'll give a reaction when I feel I've sat on something for a long time and made a certain decision, not a fixed decision, a flexible decision as to how I see something going down, or as to how I understand something. So that's it basically. I'm in the grey zone today, and I don't consent to any fear-mongering, any propaganda, any control. I am me, I'm an individual, and I stand in my middle, in my balanced area. So that's my spiel as to why I'm in the grey. Some of you might want to join in with that. It's time to be individuals amongst the collective group. So this is for the 28th of April 2020, and the first card is the Emperor. Now the Emperor is in reverse, so this speaks of, this is the father of the universe, so to speak, a divine masculine energy. But looking at this in reverse, it speaks to what's going on in the collective stage. It speaks to obstacles being put in your way, left, right and centre. But what it also speaks to is obstacles for the other side also, for any agenda, for any things haven't quite gone down, people haven't been quite so compliant, people have questioned things a lot more, and so a lot of the obstacles are happening on the other side also, on this stage that we're looking at right now. But in our personal lives, of course, that reflects down to our personal lives. And you might find today that you are coming across certain obstacles, things that are getting in your way, people that are trying to get in your way. It might be yourself. You might be resonating with this energy, and it might be that you are creating obstacles for yourself, that you are putting things in your way for yourself. You're procrastinating, you're not making clear decisions, you're not staying balanced, you're literally manifesting obstacles in your life. Now, why are you doing that? Maybe it's a fear of success, maybe it's a fear of what the other side, what the other side of the obstacle will look like, what life will look like. Even if it's something that you want, you might be nervous to go for it because maybe you haven't gone for something that you want for quite some time and it feels a bit odd, and you're frightened if it doesn't work out how you'll feel. But there's obstacles being put in your way. Now, if you're not putting your own obstacles in your way, well, actually, even if you have people who are in around you that are being putting obstacles in your way, that are getting in your way, being inflexible, being very fixed, then that's still you creating your own obstacles. Because then why are you around these people? Why are you taking your time with these people? Why are you investing anything in these people? So you still need to, rather than look at these people that are around you creating the obstacles, again, it's the same old, go within self and see why you are allowing that, why something within you allows you to be controlled, that almost craves that control. It's so used to that control that you created around you. And of course that makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of us. I'm not getting at anybody, because as above, so below. So the as above, if you look at the tiers, the hierarchy in society, and these above tiers, the amount of control, the amount of manipulation, the amount of obstacles that they put in the way, the amount of planning that goes into all of this, of course that filters down. And you become like the people you invest your time in, that you hang around with. And we've hung around with the results of whatever control mechanisms are thrown into the collective for a long time. So we've become compliant to it, we've become complacent to it. So of course that reflects in our individual lives, also in our personal lives. We attract that energy that likes to be fixed, that likes to be obstructive, that likes it their way or no way. And so it's for us to look within and say, so where did that sneak in with us? What conditioning happened to us, whether it's from childhood or early adulthood or very recently? What conditioning worked on us enough that we would, one, accept this kind of obstructive control, hierarchical based lifestyle? What got in? What wormed its way in to allow us to be compliant to this? Some of you might say the education system. Some of you might say that is nothing but conformist. That is nothing but trying to get everybody in uniform, to dress the same, look the same. Hairstyles have to be a certain section of hairstyles are acceptable and the rest are not. Individuality is So wherever you have to look to find where this worm went in, and it's probably in numerous places that wormed its way into you, that allowed you to accept this kind of control, either in your close personal life, in your nucleus family, or from above. Now, the positive in this is that if you take the invitation of this energy to look inside and see where you allowed these openings, this worming in of the acceptance of control, and the acceptance of obstacles put in your way. If many of us are to do this, that sends out an energy of no consent. That sends out an energy of, we are watching you. We are working out what has been done, what kind of manipulation has been done to allow this to be acceptable to us, not just now, but for a very, very long time. And it puts a spotlight on something that must have a spotlight put on it. You see, the energies that are representative higher up for me on this collective stage, representative of this Emperor in reverse, they have passion, they have drive, they have ambition, enthusiasm to create their world their way, no matter what. The torch is passed down from generation to generation within these few families, and the the modus operandi, the agenda is absolutely passed down. And you know, there's manipulation and control there. You know, the children and the children of their children, they're all manipulated and taught a very certain way of thinking. With ego, they're taught that they are worth more, that they are higher, they are more valuable from a young age. So this torch keeps getting passed down. So they are affected by control and manipulation also. But to have this energy come up isn't negative. It's necessary, because it puts the spotlight on the ambition and drive that these people have. And what are we doing in our individual lives? We have been controlled and manipulated in very similar and very different ways. And we've become complacent. We don't have half as much drive as a collective as these people do. We don't have half as much ambition and passion about a certain agenda, about getting something through the way they want, the way we want it. We don't have that. We are much more compliant, much more gentle, much more, you know, oh well, let's hope it's going to be okay. Let's hope this saviour will come and save the day. Let's hope, oh, this one said they're going to do that, and this one said they're going to do that. That's good, that's good. We can just sit and do nothing. And so that's where there's no one person to blame for where we are right now. There's no blame to be had. There's no forgiveness to be had. It's just an observation. Sorry, I'm dropping things. An observation of why we are where we are today. Because only through observing that and understanding that can we ever transmute that and get rid of that. And it not be a way of control over us individually and collectively ever again. So I hope that made sense, because I feel like I went off on one of the spiritual rants, but it's important. It's important right now that you stand as an individual, that you stand strong and you stand passionately and enthusiastically. Not reactionary, not on one colour or the other colour. Stay in your grey, stay in your balanced, but be passionate about the world you want to live in. Be observant of what is going on. Do not be compliant about what the result may be, or what we may have get out of this, or how we will live after. And don't sit there worrying. Do something to stomp your authority on your existence, your life, your soul's journey here, your soul's path. Because if we could do that, we're living in amazing times anyway right now. But if we could do that, if we could really accept our individuality, then in our divinity and sovereignty, it would be an even more amazing, it would be epic to be part of that change, to be alive right now and be absolutely, each person, an intrinsic part of the big change, the big reset. And the reset happens here. And then it reverberates out, but it happens here. It happens right inside, with all of the inner work, with all of the knowing of thyself, healing thyself, making thyself whole. It happens in here. So you can do that, and you can do that today. And we've got no excuses. Everybody's got a lot more time, it seems. So the second card, is the Seven of Swords. This is, this speaks of theft. This speaks of intellectual property theft, thought theft even. Now, what's going on right now with this Emperor in reverse, this control system, an obstructive system? What's going on right now with this Emperor in reverse and the Seven of Swords? It's the theft of your energy. It's the theft of the swords being thoughts. We manifest things through our thoughts. Things come about when we think about them, when we manifest them through our thoughts. So it's this intellectual property theft that I'm picking up on is this hijacking of the energy, making people put more energy on fear, making people put more energy on just being giving up, you know, because of the kind of hooks that have been put in, while this property theft, this intellectual property theft, the theft of your thoughts has been happening. It speaks only to partial success though, and it speaks to not a victory on this side or not a victory on the other side. It speaks to partial success. Why? Because there are people looking and watching and seeing more. There are people opening their eyes even wider than before to see what's going on. There are a lot more people walking through the fog, but knowing that something isn't right. So that's a good thing. It speaks of needing to be diligent, needing to be discerning, needing to really look at yourself and those around you. What is being stolen from you? What is being taken from you? What kind of theft is going on right now? Look at that in your individual life. Look at the people around you, the way that they act. You know, actions speak louder than words, so to speak. Look back at all of their actions and weigh up, is this person really for me or against me? But on the collective stage, look for these people who are thieves. Look for these people who are hijacking your life. Look for these people who are taking from you unnecessarily and unfairly. And put a spotlight on them. You know, do not consent to allowing this theft to carry on in your individual life and on the collective stage. It speaks of gain through trickery. So the diversion, I'm getting that it speaks very much of diversionary tactics. That the truth of what is being carried out right now has actually nothing to do with the thing that shall not be named that all of our focus is on. It's a distraction. It's gain through trickery. So look at that also, but look at the trickery that may be going on if this resonates with you in your individual life. If you stop and look and think for a moment, if this resonates with you, then it'll become very clear very quickly of who you need to cut out of your circle. The last card, and this is awesome, is the Sun card, another major arcana. And this speaks of joy, elation, bliss. It speaks of harvest. It speaks of abundance, growth and expansion. And through you not consenting to being controlled any further, through you opening your eyes and speaking to yourself very truthfully about the people you have around you, or even to yourself, if you feel you've been gaining things from loved ones through trickery, then you need to look at yourself also and see, why are you doing that? Why would you do that? And do it under the sunlight, and you know, the bright sun that puts enlightenment on everything. Now is the time, if you want to be seeking for truth, if you want to be, if you want to have a good circle around you, if you want to finally stand as an individual and know what has been happening, now is the time, now is the day to start researching, start looking, start acting upon the enlightenment that you receive. The energies are that the truth is coming out. Don't be so absorbed in the distraction that you don't even accept the truth when you see it. On the bottom of the deck, it speaks the Seven of Pentacles, but in reverse. And again, I'm seeing that as with the 7 and the 7, it just that it's a partial success. This so far hasn't been half as successful as was planned, and that is through people being divine and sovereign and not just accepting what is put before them. You know, the 7 of Pentacles in reverse does speak to money worries. It does speak to people being worried about, you know, either the wealth that they've built up and how long that will last, or whether they've got nothing at all and how will they feed themselves. So it's important on all levels that we look after each other and we do not consent to this theft of property, theft of material, even theft of food, and theft of our thoughts, theft of our manifestation tool. It's time to be sovereign, and it's time to be divine, and it's time to change. So that's the reading. Sorry, it was a bit of a rant, for that it is what it is. I get what I get. For the 28th of April 2020. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can book with any of the details above or below this video, depending on where you're catching it. You can also catch me on Facebook Messenger at TrueDivine44. I welcome any messages through there. What else? Energy work. We can do energy work through, just like the readings, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, whatever you can use. I'll try and facilitate at my end. The energy work, you know, really helps in this situation where it makes you feel that you can power up yourself, that you can be more enlightened, because you have that clear energy flow. It helps you move the energy around your body with intent, removing any blocks that block that flow, and accepting the abundant energy that is around you all day, every day, all of the time. So there's that also. It's like an energy workout session, if you like. So until I see you again, much love. Be balanced, be whole. Mwah. Love you.